Today, our On the Move host, Donna Yeager, talks with our longtime talented friend and dedicated volunteer, Gerry Labonville, about some of his amazing accomplishments and challenges that he has tackled as an On the Move crew member. Join us as they talk about 24 years of past events. And now, here are Gerry and Donna.
Hi, I'm Donna Yeager with On the Move, and I'd like to welcome our very special guest and friend, Gerry Labonville. Welcome, Gerry.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Now, I was thinking back, and I met you back in like 1984, 85.
Yeah, it was something like that. I'd always kind of been interested in robotics. I was working in semiconductor test equipment, and one of my colleagues had crutches. He had polio when he was young, and he told me about the expo. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go there and see what I can find out, how robotics might help people that are disabled, and that's where I met you.
Cool. And we actually had a display with a robotic arm display of it was like a video. And so you told us that you were interested, and we're like, hey, we've got a great deal for you. We can really use your talents.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about On the Move back then, and it was just wonderful. We've been buddies ever since.
That's right, for a long time. Kind of grown up together.
Yeah,
in some ways.
exactly. Yeah, learned a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And but I have had interest in all the different types of robotic arms and arms prosthetics to help disabled people. And so I have a picture of my very first little arm. I think I was only like 4 years old in this picture that we have here, because it was a long time ago. Boy, and there were little buttons that I pushed with my chin to move the little elbow up and down. And then I tightened my shoulders really, really tight, and that opened the little fingers, opened and closed it. And really the main reason why I had it was just to punch my sister in the stomach. It wasn't very nice, but it was good practice. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I won't go there. Okay. Anyway, but it was my first introduction to, the idea of having an arm. But actually the arm itself was so heavy that that's what actually caused my spinal curvature.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the arm was attached to your body?
It was.
Yeah.
Yep. It was on the shoulder with straps around my whole body,
okay.
trying to hold it on. And it was very heavy, so it was like,
wow.
But thank goodness. I mean, that's where the second one came into play, that I had attached to the wheelchair. And I guess I was about 10, 11 years old when they put it on my chair. And it literally, I'd have neighbors in the neighborhood go, hey, where are your arms? I'd say, oh, it's in my parents' bottom drawer, because it was so heavy. It kept blowing fuses, and I wanted to be cool, I didn't want to arm blowing fuses. So, but you were gracious enough to say that you would take on the daunting task of trying to get it working again.
Yeah, when I got it, I remember it was all in pieces. Yeah. And there's some of the things have broken since then, the cables, but overall, you can make things move still. There's 7 switches on here that make the different joints move all over the place, and it's kind of neat. And one of my goals was to try to hook a computer onto this and get it working again. And then I joined a robotics company and never had time to work on it since.
Well, I have fond memories of you worked on it for such a dedicated length of time. It was in your living room.
Yeah.
It had a place of honor, and I'm sure the arm was like, woohoo, I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm out of the closet. out of the drawer.
I built this stand for it also. It's something to kind of hold it up.
Yeah.
And so it can be doing things. And I've kept it ever since. I thought it was really neat. And I remember one time when you were moving, you said, well, you want it? Because it's, it's hard to move around. So I've kept it all these years.
And actually, it was NASA. It was a NASA arm that I received as a prototype to try to help the disabled community. And like I said, I think I was on like 10, 11 years old, and it just, I originally, they gave me those little switches for me to operate with my mouth, but typical woman, I had to be able to talk. So they lowered them to my toes, and my toes are so sensitive, I was able to operate those tiny little switches.
Well, that's one thing that I've always been impressed with you, how dexterous your feet are.
I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being able to write and you're driving and you're doing all the things that you do, but writing and holding a pen, that's pretty impressive. I can't do that with my toes.
Typing, and I knit.
Oh, that's true.
Knitting is probably the hardest.
Have you done that?
Oh, all the time, yeah. But anyway, I digress. But also, you have been so incredibly helpful with my lack of ability to pay to have somebody help fix my wheelchair. That was the picture a moment ago. That's one of my older Everston Jennings wheelchairs that I had that I constantly needed help with repairing. It was basically being held together with duct tape. And so you were so generous to help work on that for me. Oh boy, that was when I was in the Miss Wheelchair Virginia pageant. That was a long time ago. Yikes. Anyway, but I'm just showing the picture of the wheelchair because that's the one that I had as soon as I got back to California. And then also my van, it is a very complicated vehicle, and I drive it with my toes. You can see at the beginning of the show, and you have been so thoughtful to keep Humpty Dumpty together.
Yeah. Well, that was something else I was really impressed with, is because you hold on to it with your feet, and then you can turn all the way from one wheel stop to the other just with a little bit, and the brakes and the gas are all there, and then you've got the stick that you push with your mouth
with
and
the gears.
For doing all the things, and the little switches hanging down that would
I
operate
called
the
them my
turn
cow
signals.
udders. It looks really bizarre, little buttons in front of my head. Beep, beep, beep.
For me, that's interested in technology. I was, really intrigued with it, and then you would be having trouble with it, and so it's just kind of a fun project for me. And
it was too hard to drive down to L.A. to have those guys fix it. So you were so generous and wonderful to help me. It's like, hey, Gerry, I'm stuck. Thank you. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
You've been great. And so, but also, you have been so wonderful to help us actually crew and work with work as a crew member for our show On the Move. And so that was the next photo of you helping at the expo, the Abilities Expo, and you've come to quite a few of them too. So we greatly appreciate that too, because it's basically an all-day event where we go from booth to booth and interview people. I interview the people and you film it, and we have got a whole crew that comes along, and it's a huge group effort.
Well, I remember going in there. There was the places where they would, help people eat that weren't able to, and you're trying all those things out. And there was a lot of interesting technology there to help people.
Definitely.
So,
So true. And also the fact that you were so sweet to really befriend Joe, my husband, at the time when when he didn't have a friend in the world because he was from Germany, and so you met with him a couple times, and we'd go out to lunch and visit, and he got to know you, and he really thought of you as a wonderful friend, and we really appreciated, and he equally appreciated the friendship that.
I remember visiting quite a few times with Joe, and one of the things I remember, when you got married. I know Joe was really into tools and things like that, and I believe I gave him an American inch socket set because he had all the metric tools. And then when we got married, the gift was the saw because he was really into wood cutting, and I actually used it just a couple days ago. So it was, it brought back good memories of that.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're still using. I know. We got to take care of our tools. They're very important. That's for sure. But we have the picture of you when you were actually in the wedding party, and that was a fantastic memory. So thank you again for that.
You're welcome. That was that 1997?
That's right. Ooh, good memory. Very good. And it was there you are. It was an outdoor wedding, and it was so beautiful, and you were so supportive during the reception too. You just pitched right in there and helped everybody.
No, it was fun. I really I remember your parents and you and everybody. It was a really nice. It was out in the kind of the forest. I would say.
Exactly.
And I remember Joe really loved the redwoods and things like that, so much that you guys even moved there for a while.
Boulder Creek, that's right. It was beautiful. It was so pretty and tranquil, and I loved trees before I met Joe, and he loved the redwoods and the sequoias and the bristlecone pine tree, and we loved nature, Still do, actually. So pretty. But anyway, I really wanted to thank you for being such a wonderful friend, and then you were gracious and invited Joe and I to your gorgeous wedding with Anna, and it was so pretty, and she made such a gorgeous bride, and she's beautiful today. Well, but I love that picture. It's so pretty.
We got married in 2000, and now it's 2018, and the time just goes by so fast. But remembering that, and you and your parents were there, and it was it just fit in, and we had a great time.
Oh, it was beautiful. And see, I'd never been to the at the Stanford Chapel.
Yeah, they call it Memorial Church.
Oh, okay.
Stanford Memorial Church.
It's gorgeous, just beautiful.
It is.
And, well, you attended Stanford, right?
Yeah, I got my master's degree there.
Okay, right.
I was I was working full time at the time, but the company that I worked for had a tuition reimbursement thing, cool. So I took advantage of it, and
wow,
got my degree there.
Yeah. Oh, that's marvelous. That's great.
And actually, I remember in one of the shows where I brought the Golden Arm many years ago, you had a guest, Nathan.
Oh, right.
That I actually met here, and then he and I became really good friends, and he actually got a job where I was working, and the company was acquired after that, but he's still with the company there in New Hampshire.
Wow. So I know you're very wonderful where you're able to kind of give me progress reports on how he's doing. So that's always nice to hear how Nathan is. Yeah. That's great. But see, I didn't even realize that that's where you originally met him.
Yeah, I was on the show.
Small world, huh?
Yeah, and it was, again, talking about robotics.
Right.
Because he was involved in helping some things at Stanford for doing the testing out some robotic arms that they were working on.
Wow. Well, speaking of robotics, I love Odie. He's the cutest. What does the ODY stand for again?
Well, it stands for Only Done Yesterday. And so this was a competition robot in 1991, quite a few years ago. I had heard about this competition in June, and the competition was in September. So in 3 months, I designed and built Odie here. And as with most competitions, you're working on it all the time, and it's the last minute. And so I named him Odie, also because the shape reminded me of Odie the cartoon dog.
That's right. Garfield's buddy.
That's right, Garfield's buddy. And then I wanted to change the spelling, and then I realized, well, with these things, you just finish it the day before, and actually, it was actually the morning of the competition that I actually finally finished the last touches on it. But it actually performed really well, and won a couple trophies the first year, and then I made some additions in subsequent years, and it's done pretty well. And it was because of this I actually got a job in a robotics company. Wow. So this is what got me started.
Push that one little button, please. I love it.
Oh, to make it talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Odie.
So I gave it a voice. That's actually my voice. And I wanted to give it a little bit of character. And these things up here, they're actually lights. And so when it's actually running, they light up. And so it was, and it was designed to follow a white line on a dark surface. And there were these competitions over at the Exploratorium. And I remember you came out one year to watch it.
I loved it. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was up at the Exploratorium in San Francisco.
Right. That's when it was over across from the Palace of Fine Arts, and they moved to a different location now. But there was several years doing that.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they let me sit right in front, luckily, and it was just totally packed, full of people. It was really fun. It's a lot of fun to go.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, you were able to kind of give me a demonstration in the parking lot the other day, and that was a lot of fun. But I think there's another abbreviation for ODY.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, Donna Yeager.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
But I like your explanation.
Yeah.
That's funny. Tell me again what it meant.
Oh, only done yesterday. Right. So it's.
I love that. It was so creative. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you can see if you zoom in on that. There's his little. This is a film canister, and there's actually under here. There's a bunch of sensors.
Wow.
For picking up the line, and this is back in the old days when wire wrapping was a way of constructing computer boards and things like that. So, and it's kind of impressive that all these years later, it still seems to be working.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. So let's talk a little bit about Diana, because she is an important part of your life.
Ah, yeah, my daughter.
She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in high school now. And she was, you met her when she was a little baby, and we were reminiscing about a time that we were visiting when she was probably 3 years old, and she was jumping on the bed when we were trying to visit. And,
That's right.
And and actually, she's on her high school. They've got a robot team also, and so they're. I was helping mentor the team, and they're going to be having a competition in another couple weeks.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic. Yeah. I know. I mean, you are a very devoted father, and you work very hard to help work with the kids at the schools, and it's just amazing. My goodness. I mean, you work full time, and you come home and you help out with the. Oh boy. It's really amazing.
Well, yeah, my wife has been very supportive of all the things, and you know, she's become a good friend of yours. And, you know, we've known, you know, ever since, you know, we got married too. So
Right, exactly.
18 years.
Oh my goodness, wow. And I mean, and you travel a lot too. You know, for not a lot, but I mean, every once in a while you go on.
Well, my wife Anna, she loves traveling, and we've been to lots of places.
Yeah.
And you know, she's actually a native Spanish speaker.
Right.
And so she's talked Spanish to my daughter all her life. And we've gone to some Spanish-speaking countries where she actually, you know, acts like one of the native kids and participates in the camps and things like that.
Wow.
And so that's, you know, that's part of the traveling. And
exactly.
You know, got on cruises a couple times and things like that. So
definitely. And also, I want to thank you and emphasize how literally through the years, through so many years, you have helped us out really when we're kind of in the a tough situation where a lot of our crew members are on business trips and, you know, different activities that they can't come every, you know, month. And so you're gracious enough to kind of pinch hit for us whenever you can and when you're not out of the country. So I just, I want to thank you so much because
you're welcome.
You are amazing with all the things that you do. My goodness. And I think that's the one thing that I want to emphasize more than anything is that, you know, I have had this dream for, 40 years that I wanted to educate people about disability issues. And I really believe that because of your talents and your amazing dedication to helping people, and I know you have relatives that have disabilities, and maybe that has something to do with it as well, but just there are not that many people in the world as incredible as you are to be as devoted to your friends and family. And I really want to thank you because you've been, I'm going to start crying. Anyway, but but I really do appreciate you, and all of our crew members are so important to my family, and you know, so that also we want to say a little bit about our buddy Tom, because Tom, we all have known Tom. He came on our crew also pretty close towards the beginning, and he recently passed. And you know, we so much appreciate all of his time and work and with the crew. And you actually went to the service, right?
Yes, it was. I was really impressed by Tom and how friendly he was all the time.
Right.
And you know, he's just so you know, outgoing and things like that. And when I went to the service, I got there just a couple minutes early because I was working, and I was amazed that the entire place was completely packed, and I actually had to stand in the back because there wasn't any room to sit. And there were all these his friends that came up and talked about how friendly he was and how he had changed their lives, and he knew everybody, and I was really impressed. You know, I had known him from the crew here, but you know, all the other things that he had affected. It was.
And, I mean, he really did. Tom touched so many lives, and you have touched a lot of people's lives also, both helping and volunteering, and we just want to thank you so very much. You really have been a very important, your whole family has been an important family. I mean, you know, we're all one big family, but I mean, you guys have been wonderful. So I want to thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, and I want to, you know, thank you again. Also, it kind of reminded me also.
We gotta get going here.
Oh, okay.
But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
All right.
And until next time, I'm Donna Yeager with On the Move. Thank you so very much for joining us.
We're on the move, striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. We're rolling and we're walking, but we're not sitting still. There's a world of adventure to explore. We're signing and we're talking from New York to Brazil, from Canada on out to Singapore. We're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move, we're striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. We're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move, we're striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. Got it.
If you see us in your businesses or see us on TV, don't be surprised, cause you'll see us there again.
And again.
Cause we're showing our abilities and building self-esteem. We're going places that we've never been.
Hey, we're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move, we're striking out to set the pace. We all can choose to make a difference. Our time is overdue. If we collect our dreams, take them on the move. We're on the move to make this world a better place. We're on the move.